You tried to talk them out of it, but they just wouldn't listen. Well, not really. You didn't actually say anything, but you thought about it. But in the long run, your conscience just wouldn't let you. And so here you are, one of your friends have gone and become a foster parent. And like any good friend, you've decided, well, I'm going to help out. But the question is, how do you help? Well, that's what this video is about. How do you help your friends who have become foster parents? Now, I want to be clear about this. This is not about them not having the resources or the energy or the capacity to care for the children that they've taken in. But rather, this is about your way of showing them that you're part of the team, that you care about them, that you love them, and that you're in it together because we are a community. My name is Dwayne Stark, and I've been a foster and adoptive parent for, oh goodness, going on 14 years now. Over and over throughout the years, I've heard multiple friends of mine say, how can we help? We're not able to foster or we're not able to adopt, but we want to help, and we want to show you that we support you. It has just been fantastic, the community that has come around our family to assist and let us know that we're in this together and that we really are not alone. And if we need help, if we need assistance in any sort of way, that there are people we can reach out to who will be there without hesitation. This video, again, is just about sharing with you some different ways that if that's you, if you're that friend who wants to help someone out, just some ideas on how you can help out. There are over 400,000 children in foster care in America. Specifically in Oregon, my home state, there at any given time, there's somewhere in the ballpark of 7,000 children in the foster care system. And yet, despite the number of children, we don't have nearly that many foster homes. Yeah, we hover just above or just below 4,000 licensed foster homes at any given time. My point is that the need is great. But I understand that not everybody has the ability to open up their homes and take in another child. Not everybody has an empty bed. Not everybody has a family situation or a job situation that would allow them to take in one of these vulnerable children. But here's the thing. Everybody does have a role. How do you step into a support role? Because it really does take a community. And hopefully by the time we're done with this, you'll be able to step out, work with some people, and let people know we really are in this together. And let your foster parent friends know they're not alone. They have a team wrapped around them. Be the hands and feet of Jesus. If that is the motto that drives you, then you'll do just fine. As long as that's at the forefront of your mind when you're thinking about your friends who are fostering. Fortunately, in my life, I've had the opportunity to see so many people represent their faith and come forward and just love on our family. We've had family after family step in and get involved, and it's just been fantastic to witness. I can't imagine being in this alone. I can't imagine fostering without a support system who has come alongside us and encouraged us. For those of you that know me who might be watching this, this isn't about me getting more help for my own family, but rather this is about sharing about the help that you guys have already provided me so that others can learn from your example and love on their friends. I've broken this into a couple different categories. The first of those being moral support. Above all, understand that your friends aren't crazy. Now, I joked at the beginning about you trying to talk them out of, and maybe that's true and maybe it's not. But as foster parents, people oftentimes look at us like we're just out of our mind, and maybe we are. But I do think that that's the kind of love that we want to have for children, a crazy love, a unrelenting love, a unconditional love. And I get that not everybody understands that. But I want to encourage you, as you are coming alongside your friends, to not treat them like they're crazy. Every once in a while you can make a comment about, man, yeah, I just don't get it. Or, I don't know that I could do that. Keep it there. Okay? Don't bash them, don't put them down. What's important is that you listen and you encourage. Every family has a different reason for why they take in other children. I remember at one point in our family, my daughter realized she had an empty bunk on the bottom bunk. So she, kids had moved into another room and she had a bunk bed in there, and she came to us and said, Mom, Dad, what's the point in having an empty bed in our room? Man, to have a 6-year-old call you out on that, that was awesome. So it didn't take long until that bed was filled. So everybody has their different reason, and we don't expect you all to understand those reasons or even necessarily to agree with those reasons. But please, listen to us, support us, and encourage us in the ministry that we've chosen to take on. I also want to encourage you to be careful about the criticism you give your friends who are fostering. Remember, Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." I remember one time I was going to be out of town for work for a little bit, and so I hired a house cleaner to come in and assist a couple times a week for my wife because she was going to have quite the burden while I was gone. And I figured we could lighten that burden by having a housekeeper. And lo and behold, this woman who had never had children went through the house, and the entire time she lectured my wife about how she just needed to teach her children to clean up better. And she even told her, you know what, just spend the day following around your children and making them put everything away. And if you would just train them properly, then you wouldn't have this chaos or this mess. Man, that was the exact opposite of what I was looking for my wife. I knew that with me out of town that she was going to be overwhelmed. And so I tried to get her some help. And instead, that help, the help of cleaning the house, was not even close to worth it because of the damage that was done by the put downs given to my wife, who was already feeling a little bit insecure about the cleanliness of her house. So that's just one example, but it's not that you can't criticize or critique or encourage people in love and lift one another up and build each other up and so forth. It's just the idea of be careful what you criticize and think through why you're criticizing it ahead of time. And maybe that criticism is something that you personally could help out with. I'm convinced that one of the best ways and one of the best moral supports that you can give your foster parent friends is just to pray for them. And don't just say you're going to pray for them. Actually do it. In fact, if you have the opportunity, pray over them, pray with them, and let them know the specifics of what you're praying when you pray for them. Scripture in the book of James teaches us that true religion is this, to look after widows and orphans. And so I'm convinced that those who do that are going to come under huge spiritual attack. And so we need everybody we possibly can going to bat for us in the spiritual realm. So don't forget to pray. Put them on your daily list, put them on your weekly list, any list you have. In fact, if you don't have a list, make a list. Get them on your prayer list so that you won't forget to pray for them, so that they will be covered in that sort of blessing. Another big way to be supportive of your foster parent friends is to be intentional with the entire family. And what I'm talking about here is sometimes people realize, oh, their child in foster care has come onto the scene, and so they want to make sure that that child is loved and encouraged, and that is all well and good. But my preference, and most of the families that I've worked with, their preference is that you treat the whole family as a unit. Whether it's a biological kid, an adopted kid, a guardianship kid, or a child in foster care, all of them are to be treated the same. All of them are to be loved unconditionally. All of them are to be encouraged. And so if you're coming alongside, walk alongside the whole family, not just one child. Because to have one child left out can be devastating. I recently heard a story of one family where the grandma and grandpa refused to even acknowledge the children in the household that are in foster care. How horrible is that? That a set of grandparents would come on the scene and only love on the biological children and remind the others that they're the add-ons. So not cool. Love on all of them. Love on them equally. Look for ways to encourage them all together. If you do a basket for the family, well then do a basket that's like a game night basket, something the whole family can partake in together. Because that's what we're going for here. We're trying to find a sense of normalcy for these children so that they have the opportunity to see what a healthy, functioning family can look like. And so if we're leaving any out, well, they're going to miss out. As I get into some of the more tangible ways that you can encourage your friends, I want to throw this little nugget out there. Don't ask permission. That doesn't mean you show up unannounced and barge into their life. Rather, you tell them that you're going to do something for them. And it's not even an option. Because it's not about a handout. It's about a show of support. For example, a couple years ago, my buddy Nate, had heard me preach a sermon, and after the sermon, he called me up and he says, "Hey, what are you doing Saturday morning? Are you going to be home?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be home." He's like, "Great. My home group, we're going to show up and we're going to go ahead and get all of your landscape maintenance caught up." It wasn't even an option. And he tells me, he's like, "Don't argue with me, because that's what we're doing. We don't have the ability to take some kids into our house, but what we can do is come along you and support you." I got to tell you, that was fantastic, because I didn't feel like a charity case anymore, because I wasn't asking for help, and he didn't even give me the opportunity to turn him down. Instead, he said, "I'm going to show you an act of love, and I'm going to show up and you're going to take it." One of the secrets of foster parenting is that it's tiring. And so, any opportunity you have to come along and give some mental support, such as giving them a break, giving them just a breather in so many different ways, is going to be appreciated. Again, your friends probably aren't going to ask you for that if they can resist it, because nobody likes asking for help. So, what does it look like to give them a break? Well, one, just babysit. Give them an opportunity to go do something. You can give them, it doesn't have to be a whole night sort of thing. It could be something short. You can say, "Hey, how about, on Wednesday morning, you go for a run or you go work out or something," and give them a workout break. Or it could be just giving them a break so they can go grocery shopping. Or it could be giving them an opportunity to have a date night. So lots of ways that you can babysit. Of course, a biggie would be an overnight or a weekend respite. The point is to find little ways, whether it's a half an hour breather or whether it's a 2 day away as a couple. Find ways to give them a break. A couple more ways that you can be mental support to your friends is to just take them to coffee or tea, or even invite them for a walk or a hike. Now, that might seem simple, and you might do that with any friends, but the nice thing about those who are parents to young children or those who are fostering is that it gives them an excuse to get out of the house and get away and do something else for a few minutes. And so it's a built-in mental break. In addition to mental support, there's all sorts of physical support or even tangible support that you can do to help out for your friends. For example, get your hands dirty. This can look like a variety of things, but a classic one is just yard work. As you heard the story earlier where my buddy decided he was going to show up with his home group and get the yard work caught up. It was fantastic. It was such a relief to have somebody else do that, because that gave me a weekend back. Or even overdue house projects. You might be walking through their house and notice, man, they haven't had a chance to get to that window frame that needs to be fixed, or that screen door, or the trim in that bathroom, or whatever that project might be that you might notice when you're there. They just haven't had a chance to do it because their hands are full with all the children they're caring for. And so taking a day or taking an hour and say, "Hey, I'm going to be over Thursday night. I'm going to fix that window frame." Or, "Hey, I'm going to be over Sunday afternoon. We'll throw on the game and we'll go ahead and paint those cabinets." Whatever it be, it's just a way to help out and to show that you're there and willing to get involved. Another physical support is to get your hands cleaning. Man, this has just been fantastic. We have one friend who, it was just amazing. Again, I was working out of town, and so for several weeks she came over once a week and spent several hours just deep cleaning the house. Sure, with our current kids, we're able to keep up on the daily chores, but the deep cleaning things, man, those were going undone. And so I loved, instead of a judgment on, "Man, why don't you guys clean your house?" It was a, "Hey, how can I come over and help serve you?" Such a fantastic blessing that she gave us. In addition to house cleaning, even laundry. The bigger the family, the more laundry they create, the more they produce. And especially, again, if they have young children, it can be tough to keep up on that stuff. So once in a while, just saying, "Hey, why don't I come over? I'll fold your laundry if you run it." Or, "Hey, I'm going to come over, throw all your stuff into baskets, and I'll even run it down to the laundromat and give you a break." Just little ways to show that you're involved and to bless your friends. You can also help out by getting your hands cooking. I've quoted my wife in the past saying the best looking meal is the one she didn't prepare. And so sometimes just cooking one more meal for that family is just exhausting. And so one home cooked meal, or even deliver a meal or have pizza delivered, man, those can be fantastic. Another thing that's pretty common that you'll see is a meal train. Now, this is really common when a child first comes into the household, or if somebody gets sick or hurt, that sort of thing. Especially, it's common for newborn babies to do this. But wouldn't it be cool if just once in a while you set up a meal train for a family that wasn't expecting it and just said, hey, by the way, your dinners are getting delivered this week because our home group or our group of friends or our family, we love you, we care about you, and we just want to find a way to show you. Financial support can be a tricky one, but it is a way that you can help. One more time, I want to reiterate, this is not about them not having provisions to provide for their children or them not having enough money or enough stuff. These are ways that you can use your financial resources to remind them that you're part of the team, that you're in it together, and you're here to bless them and to help them in this journey as they care for these vulnerable children. A couple ideas of what you can do with your financial support. Maybe just order them groceries. You can get on Walmart or Amazon and order some non-perishables and have them delivered to their house so that they don't have to go grocery shopping that week. Another option is to help come up with some clothing for them or other needs. I know for small children, man, every morning it's the nightmare of what happened to the shoes and where are the matching socks. In fact, I'm convinced that that's one of the curses of the world, are socks and their inability to match and be where they're supposed to be at 6:30 in the morning when you're supposed to have them. But nonetheless, I digress. The point here is, wouldn't it be cool to just give a call or a text and say, hey, what size is your 4-year-old? Or what size is your 3-year-old? What size shoe do they wear? They're going to think it's a weird question, but then you show up a day or two later and you have, 2 pairs of $5 shoes that kid now has. And they're like, oh my goodness, how wonderful that I don't have to find shoes this morning because you have new shoes, and the kid's going to be excited about it. That sort of thing. Or if you know there's a baby in the house, maybe you just stop by one time and drop off a box of diapers and wipes. I know for our family, one of the things that was a huge blessing is we got a phone call one time. People realized with 9 kids, we probably didn't have bicycles for all of them. And so, sure enough, somebody reached out to us to make sure that we had a helmet and a bicycle for every one of the kids. And we did for most, but there was a couple that we hadn't yet. And of course, they blessed us with that. It was so cool. Another option is maybe you don't have the opportunity or the patience to babysit for them, but you could hire a babysitter because babysitters these days are spendy. I know my dates with my wife, they are way cheaper than hiring the babysitter for the date with my wife. And so that can be a blessing. Or even maybe you have teenage kids and you can say, hey, I'm going to hire my own child to come babysit for you. And one more time, back to the mowing the lawn or the yard maintenance. Maybe your health is not one that allows you, or your schedule that does not allow you to get over there and help with those things. Maybe you could hire a service for them. It might be a one-time cleanup of the yard, or it might even be a monthly ongoing that you just want to bless them with. Lots of ways where you can apply your financial resources to helping them out. One that I had never thought of before until it recently happened with us is a family who decided that they wanted to bless us with some sort of little vacation. And so they wrote us a check, and we were just astonished. And it was something specific for my wife and I. And so they blessed us with, it was an amount where we could hire a babysitter for overnight, and we were able to go stay somewhere other than our house for a night and have 2 days and have dinner, and just we took a weekend, and it was fantastic. And we never would have taken that weekend if it wasn't for their decision to bless us and to help out. So all sorts of ways that you can help out with your financial resources. Finally, what I want to say is stay involved. A common phenomenon that I've seen throughout foster care is that when a new child comes in, lots of people pitch in. But 6 months, 12 months, 18 months later, people kind of forget. I would encourage you to remember that no matter how long they have had those children with them that are in foster care, to continue being that support for them. Stay an ongoing network with them.